Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty cool updates upcoming over here where Sony is now actually making a lot more really good movements towards allowing more developers to port over their games, have more games on the actual platform, and all this other good stuff too as well. We like to go and see this mainly because, obviously, the more games we can play, the more games that we could easily port over, this kind of just gives us a lot more options. This also does go in tie into with their brand new hardware as well. So we have a lot of good stuff to go talk about, a lot of good things to bring it up. So, well, let's go and talk about it. And as well, if any of you guys are brand new, before we fully dive on in, obviously give your thoughts and comments down below as we do the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below, and the Target links too as well, and Amazon links. And let's dive into the video. So as you guys know, we are anticipating and waiting for some brand new hardware coming out ideally soon. We still don't have the proper release date for the PlayStation VR2. We're still waiting for the updates on the brand new controller, but we do know that they're announced, and we do know that they're coming. So that's kind of the two big things we're looking for. But as we've been getting more and more information, this is actually leading towards even more cool things tying on in. So with this, we are now hearing information, this is right after the proper CEDEC event, where Sony actually had a chance to go and speak and have a chance to talk and bring up a lot more information and kind of talk about how we're going to have a lot more future games too as well. So I like seeing this. So PlayStation VR2 should make it easier for developers to port now over their games. And as the article even goes and states, so when can we have Half-Life Alyx on here? So in a new talk about the headset, Sony's revealed that PlayStation VR2 has been designed to now make it easier for developers to create VR versions of now PlayStation 5 games, as well as now port games to PlayStation VR2 from also other platforms. Like, I'm not sure how much you guys care about PlayStation VR2 or whatever. This is pretty big. So obviously, first and foremost, being able to go create VR versions of any type of PS5 game, this could actually allow for some very, very nifty first-party titles that might show up. So think maybe God of War Ragnarok. We might actually have a nice vibe when it ties with that. Mainly because if you can make it into a VR game and use it on the PlayStation VR, people might go and play it. Ratchet and Clank, or think even Horizons on their own original game, not the VR version. Like, this is actually kind of nifty. This also may go and accumulate too as well with other maybe even indie games and mid-tier games too, because if the development and move over for VR is easy, and let's say a company can do it in under 6 months and it could still be good, like properly good and properly made, then guess what? Like, I think a lot of companies would be like, well, we can make a few extra $1 million. We'll put Jimmy from accounting on it. Like, why not? And the part two is also the porting over from other VR platforms. As you guys know, the Valve Index and the Oculus Rift and all these other things too, the Vibes, do already have their own established VR and VR type games on their platforms. So that also means things, like think the easy like Beat Sabers, or as well Half-Life Alyx. I don't know if it's Alexi or Alex, whatever it is. But basically that just allows more other games to easily be ported over, and it does expand out the game pool for all the VR games on the PlayStation VR 2. And I do think that's always the biggest issue, is when you have a cool, like, kind of niche platform, if you don't really have too many games to play, then kind of what's the point? It's like you can go and buy, let's say, like a really good PC, but if you don't use Steam and you don't use it, like, say, Epic Game Launcher, like, what are you really going to use it for playing? Like, you're just going to play, like, mini clip games online, like playing virtual pool on, like, a web browser? You never know. You play RuneScape, which I'd probably play, in all honesty. So you see all this type of stuff, and, like, they're seeing the higher optimalization of people and developers moving over to platforms makes everything very nice. And as well, you have to also incentivize the developers to want to actually make stuff on the platform. And that's why it's awesome, because if it's easy to be made and it's easy for them to go and transfer over, they're going to do it for the easy profits. So speaking during the CEDEC 2022 event, Sony Interactive Entertainment Tatsuya Takashi and Kenjo Akimama talked about the new hardware features. So this also started over from a few of the other various things too as well, whereas you guys can see, just from the headset, just confirming it with the eye tracking, everything else, the usual actual adaptive feedback and everything else too as well with the controllers, the wireless, the design, the everything else with it, and as well discussing all the other various things too, such as the new, like, basically see-through features, which I still think this stuff is probably the coolest stuff out here, where you can essentially see and set your own zone. And if you somehow leave the zone, then you're actually able to, like, it'll give you a warning. So, like, you're not, like, stubbing your toe against the couch or knocking over a lamp or, like, hurting grandma. And they kind of have this, like, put kind of like almost like a 3D model that's like a hologram of whatever room you're in, and all the other various UI settings, too, as you guys may have had a chance to see as well. So they had a chance to discuss all this. They talked about the details, and a lot of you guys probably already know about it if you guys have been following this, but the biggest thing is, as we mentioned, down to the development of the headset ahead of its early 2023 release. So the broad strokes are that it should be easier for developers to port their game on PSVR. Whether that's from existing PS5 development, so like I said, any type of PlayStation 5 game that maybe is easily used on like the PlayStation/Sony platform, or as well as they also mentioned too, any other game as well throughout the PSVR. So if you think maybe even the first PSVR, those games could be potentially ported over very, very easily. Like, it should be a very similar system. Or as we also mentioned too, all the other various VR sets. The PSVR2's production environment also supports games created with Unity and Unreal Engine, which, as you guys know, are probably the two most popular basically coding and development platforms. With a standardized controller interface and button placement similar to other VR platforms, it should be far simpler than before for developed games to get support now on the PSVR 2. So as we mentioned, I like this. The more you can go and make, the easier it is to port, the easier it is to move these base games, is better for Sony to make proper PS5 games into VR for developers, and also this also might incentivize some folks just to purely make an individual PSVR 2 game. So instead of it just being like, oh, it's a port, which ports are nice, kind of floods the game list, but also might make it easier then for someone to just purely make it, like purely make a PlayStation game for it. So with this, the talk also covered a number of other features designed to make developers' lives easier when working with the headset. One feature that developers will appreciate is its GPU flexible scale rasterization, which I've never even heard of before, which combines PSVR 2's tracking cameras and full-vetted rendering to freely alter pixel density based on where the player is looking, further optimize rendering. So to my understanding, that basically means like if you're looking straight into a VR, as you guys know, VR is usually 360, so you can look all around you. If you're looking straight, that means there's less features that are being rendered behind you. Like, you're basically like, you don't need to have the stuff it's still there, it's still in the game, it just doesn't have to be shown, or does not have to be shown in as much detail, because it's already like, you're not looking there. You don't have to waste the actual processing power with it. So another sample programs are provided in the development environment for the headset's force feedback that also vibrates according to what has been seen or heard, allowing developers to test out sample vibrations based on, just a lot of the stuff going on, in the game, so footsteps, jumps, etc. So development environment tools were also introduced during the session. So VR Trace allows developers to diagnose issues with their applications through capture and replay. So not only can it automatically detect and highlight problems, it can replace eye and tracking results with dummy data, so the VR game development is possible without needing a connected VR headset. So that's another big thing on development, because you literally do not need to actually have the VR headset. So with all this type of technology, some of these development firms and also developers might already be testing and making games, and they have announced that, Sony themselves has announced that they are already doing that. So it kind of lets people go and also once again makes it open to pretty much anyone. We don't have to maybe spend the $300, $400, $500 on a VR headset, because guess what? You just can replicate it throughout this environment tools that they already made. Another tool they also made was the PlayStation VR 2 Comfort Sample, which lets developers learn about the various problems in implementation that can occur when developing VR games. For example, it allows developers to experience for themselves issues that can occur with an in-game horizon not matching the real world, or comfort issues created by an incorrect FOV. It even contains quizzes that allows developers to learn about these bugs in a fun way. From a quiz where you need to identify issues occurring on a screen, to a quiz you need to identify what bugs are causing a problem, the tool is seemingly full of ways to teach developers about the unique issues that can happen in VR. Which is also very nice too, because as you guys know, VR is still a newer process, and it's not necessarily something that everyone has coded on. So basically all this stuff put together is just making the games a lot better, making the game and hopefully the motion sickness issues people have, etc., a little bit easier, and as well just kind of bolstering up a lot more general games everywhere too as well, which I think is cool. I love seeing this. I love seeing this at all, and I love seeing new updates. So give me your thoughts in comments down below. Are you guys going to get a PSVR2 yourselves? Do you guys like it? Do you guys dislike it? Are you guys going to try to develop something maybe as well? Let me know in the comment section down below. As well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well. For the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway, and the Amazon links down below, Target links too as well. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching.